Oh, hi people. It is early in the morning. It's a little after 6:30. And the OBS just decided to update. So it was offering me a chance to stream, and I thought about trying it, and then I thought, I'm not sure that I've got the bandwidth here, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I suppose any streams I could do, I could just be like, hey, pop up. I don't have enough of an audience that I think anybody would be paying attention, so yeah, whatever. Um, the storage room is actually getting into shape. I'm not going to unblur it because God only knows if I'd be able to blur it properly again. I probably could, but I sit around fumbling with it. Yeah. So, but I've got this sit to stand desk back there. Now I have a little elliptical thing under it, and I also have a treadmill. Now, I was not a walking pad, I guess it's called. It's like a treadmill light. And when I got it, I did not get the most expensive top of the line one. But like I have to haul it in front of the desk when I want to use it. I don't know. I wouldn't give it 5 stars or anything, but I guess it'll work for purpose. I have not done one of these in a while. The last recording I did, I was just really overwhelmed, and I realized I was talking over the creativity sprint that I was trying to do for y'all, and I just gave up. I was like, I'm not gonna put this up. It's a mess. So it was a while, or it's been a while, and I thought what I'd do is, since it's technically the full moon was yesterday, do our full moon reading. Thought before I started with that, introduce you to a couple of these things. So, well, I try to stay. I'm not big enough that I think they notice me. I mean, I may be big enough, but the channel's not big enough. Yeah. I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to be noticed, and I have an appearance that gets noticed. In my case, I know y'all are going to be jealous but it's because everyone's drooling over me. Don't you wish you were hot like me? But no, I'm someone who kind of wants to fade in the background instead of like, white hair, long white hair. What can I tell you? I'm a bog hag living on the prairie. Anyways, so I'm not gonna not cuss. Okay, inner fucking peace. I don't make these videos for children. What child is going to be interested in watching a 60-year-old woman grouse about stuff? And I don't know, I guess if your child's interested in this channel, you have a very interesting child, and maybe you should be proud of that. So the first card I drew from this says, pick one thing beyond your control and let it go, just like that. Well, pretty much immediately I picked what other people think of me. I can't control what other people think of me. That's very true. Now, it might be nice if people worked on not being dicks with prejudiced notions about people. And in my case, I mean, obviously, I'm not encountering systemic racial prejudice in the United States because I'm obviously pasty white. So, mostly my background is, it's about 67% German, and then a whole lot of other pasty white European stuff like Lithuanian, Polish, Belarusian. It's a lot less Scots-Irish than I thought there was, but I think that ancestral line was German, but they'd, lived in Scotland and Ireland. Anyway, I find the whole thing kind of fun, the genetics thing. The one I didn't expect was North Africa. It's like, all right, cool. But anyways, so I'm not facing systemic racial prejudice. I'm not gonna put any claims to that, and I'm not like trying to do an oppression Olympics thing here, but there are prejudices I face. Probably the two most obvious ones, which I talk about a fair bit, are my age and my size. The fact that I dress like an unmade bed, I mean, I don't know. But so the prejudice around a person's appearance, and this is not my idea. There was, I read this somewhere a few years back, and unfortunately I don't remember who said it, but that we live in a society where the two qualities we value most, it actually isn't beauty per se, it's hotness. So we value as a society this quality of hotness, it's just, that person, they're so hot. Um, this is kind of like a very narrow spectrum, and the ideals of beauty in this society are on an extremely narrow spectrum as well. And if you don't fit into those, well, woes betide you to whatever degree. It's stupid. And it also makes for a less rich society. I don't feel like we should be going around necessarily, just on what people look like. How about, basing our criteria for, well, first of all, treating people with common decency. That's regardless of what you think they look like, or it should be. Anyways, so there's that particular thing. And the other quality that is valued in our society is lust. Lust So you got hotness and you got lust. And that's kind of the quick hitting thing. And, alright, so you feel a certain kind of way when you see a person who looks and presents themselves in a certain kind of way, fine. But why is it necessary to treat everybody else who doesn't fall into those criteria like dog shit? I really don't get that. Anyway, so what people think of me, look at that old fat lady who isn't trying hard enough to look like she's 25 and be hot. Go fuck yourself, basically. Because, for one thing, why would I, if I was even looking for somebody to be with, which I'm not, I've got enough problems, so I can't be taking care of somebody else. But why would I be looking for somebody who sees women in that way as, they're looking for their trophy wife or whatever? Well, I ain't want to be anybody's trophy wife. I never did. So, yeah, that's the thing that, because, yeah, it can be hurtful to always hear, if you just tried harder. Well, my thought on that is mind your own body. Don't be going around worrying about other people's bodies. And if you truly are worried about other people's health, then why are you not targeting the, excuse me, I gotta dismiss this, the food industry is putting all these additives in food, and the way food is distributed with, creating food deserts in poor communities. You just don't end up seeing a whole lot of salad fixins, and the, I don't know, then there's these whole stupid, idiot, dumb ideas of fat people just need to eat a salad. Fat people eat salads. Fat people eat the same things that their thinner counterparts do. There's just so many variables that go into the way a person's body looks. And, I'd say if instead of combating a certain body type, what you want to do is combat malnutrition. And by this I mean like the kinds of food that you end up getting at the food bank. It's a lot of canned pasta. In my house, I'm the only one who's willing to eat it, so we leave that behind. So you get a lot of things like that at the food bank, but also looking into the fact that often the people who are going to the food bank, the ones, that are within working age and have kids and stuff, they're not going to be having a whole lot of time to prepare these wondrous meals a lot of the time. I know I didn't when I was, working in healthcare. And I said to one of the it was to my physical therapist recently. I said, people who work in healthcare, and you probably know this, I said, but especially in settings like hospitals, long-term care centers, EMS, some of the unhealthiest people in the world. And it's not a value judgment, and I'll tell you why it happens. Because we work long hours, we work weird hours, and so a lot of the time you're just eating this grab and go stuff. There's also a rather high divorce rate among healthcare workers. So, improving conditions would go a long way to having people whose bodies are healthier. And again, just, not obsessing on the size of the body as the be-all and end-all. I wish I didn't ever have to come back to this subject again. I wish I didn't, because I hate this subject. I hate it so fucking much. I wish we could just, live and let live. So, have this amazing thing here. Say continuous glucose monitor. Now, I actually started with one of these couple weeks ago. I got two of them. Well, I broke the first one because I'm a bumbling idiot. Oh my god. The second one, though, it was not my fault. I had it on the back of my arm, kind of more in the squishy part. And it's supposed to be, it's supposed to hold for 2 weeks. Well, I'm doing what I do, and it just falls off. And then I look at the pamphlet again, after the fact, of course, because why not? And I see that one of the things you're supposed to not do if you want it to stay on, don't sweat. Well, let me just tell you about the double message that I'm getting here from the health community. You need to exercise more, Tubby. I've been hearing that for years. And I was exercising, which is why I was sweating. But, but with this, don't sweat. Well, I got a tegaderm. A tegaderm, for those who don't know, I was in medical, and maybe you can see the outline of it a little bit. It's a clear, waterproof bandage. So hopefully, and I'll be very gingerly when I wash around that area. Hopefully it'll stick for 2 weeks. And it's like pulling teeth to get the fucking thing authorized. I'm just, I don't know why. Why does it gotta be like this? So, let me explain about why I started using Ozempic. And no, it's not so I can lose weight and become a svelte supermodel. It's for better control of my glucose. Even on the Ozempic website, it said this is not meant as a weight loss drug. So, and the weight loss that people manage to achieve by getting their doctors to prescribe it in an off-label manner and using the highest dose, which is more likely to cause side effects, is only about 25 pounds. Anyway, and just like any other diet, when you stop doing it, you're gonna weight cycles. Just stop it. Don't abuse your body that way. Anyways, So I started using that, and here's the reasoning that I went through with my doctor, who is not obsessed with the idea of weight loss. The reason I go to her is she treats the underlying conditions. So, um, what Ozempic does, it's only for use with people with type 2 diabetes. Um, it prompts the pancreas to produce its own insulin, so you can use less insulin shots, but it can, end up also prompting the blood sugar to tank, which has happened to me a couple times since I've started it, which is why you want this, the continuous glucose monitor. I've got this app on my phone, and I was enjoying so much just every now and then checking in. Oh, what's my glucose? This is so cool. So you only have to stab yourself once every couple weeks to implant the monitor. It sounds worse than it is. It doesn't hurt any more than doing the insulin injections, which often doesn't hurt at all, or only very minimally if I manage to hit a spot that just really didn't want to be hit. Hurts less than getting the sample from my fingers, which is not like I can't, I'm not going to ever have to do that, because if you get like a low or high alert, you're supposed to check it, with the regular blood glucose monitor. Anyways, though, I was really enjoying this, and one of the things that the Ozempic does for some people is helps to reduce inflammation, which I have a lot of problems with inflammation. I've got all these endocrine glitches that contribute to inflammation. So, that so far I have not had any negative side effects from it, but I'm only using a low dose. There's no reason to go beyond what you need. So anyway, yeah, doing that, and trying to reduce the amount of insulin that I have to use, because insulin can promote inflammation, which is something I already have trouble with. Another thing is I've been trying to be encouraging with myself, and usually my approach with myself is just do what you need to do, you stupid asshole, stop whining. But the CPAP machine. So, from what I've learned, I stop breathing between 30 and 50 times every hour when I'm sleeping. The nurse practitioner said that I have a crowded airway, and I've got a small airway. And those are the conditions that are the fertile breeding ground for bad sleep apnea. I've got a large uvula in comparison to my small airway, and kind of a thick tongue given everything else. Who the fuck manufactured this model? I swear to God, I was stuck together out of spare parts. And I swear a lot. But anyways, there's part of me, part of it's the way I was raised. My father was always really gung-ho about, well, if you take all your vitamin supplements, he took tons of vitamin supplements, and you get proper amount of exercise, and you eat healthy, and all that, then you'll never have any problems, but that's not true. Stress, I feel, contributes to the problems a person will develop with their body, even more so than what you eat, I think. But at the core of it all is simply your DNA, and when it came to endocrine systems, I drew the short straw. Anyhow, but one of the things that with sleep apnea, so basically you're in flight or fight mode all night long, as my nurse practitioner explained it, struggling to get a breath, get a breath. Looking back on the sleeping problems I've always had, I think I've had sleep apnea literally my entire life. But, and the flight or fight thing, I almost forgot this part. The flight or fight thing, it causes an increase in cortisol levels. And cortisol contributes to weight gain, difficulty, losing weight. So, and what are you putting on people when you're just basically saying, well, just lose weight, and the very overly simplified calories in, calories out model? I'm starting to lag here, so I'm going to wrap this up. But what you're adding is stress, and I'm feeling kind of passionate about this. I think stress is the biggest contributor to health problems. And also, if you have somebody who's come to you and their diet is terrible, all they're eating is snack food, well, the way to help with that is not to yell at this person. I had one thing I read where the diatribe was, fat people eat like children. They haven't developed sophisticated palates. Bitch, I'd be happy to eat sophisticated food as long as someone else is preparing it. I'm not going to prepare it. But anyway, well, what if you never learned any different, and not having sympathy for this person's situation? My God, who the hell do you think you're helping with the shaming attitude? I don't get that. I'll never get that. It's like not an iota of compassion. Oh, sure, we have compassion for this, that, and the other, sort of, a little, as long as we don't have to interact with those people. But compassion for people in larger bodies, perish the thought. The way you're going to get them to be thin is to treat them like complete shit. Well, since that hasn't worked yet, maybe it's time to try another approach. And the approach is simple. Don't be a dick. But anyway, to hark back to our card that I began this discussion with, you can't control if other people suck and have shitty opinions. So, let that shit go. So that's been our Sunday sermon here, and try and get back to doing more of these things, I guess. And peace to you. Have a good week.